Okay guys, so I'm still setting up my machines from Texas Pinball Festival at my house. I took a day off. So I'm finally getting things into position again, and I figured I was going to show you guys how to go about setting up your pinball machine or disassembling. This worked both ways. I showed this method to a few friends at the festival. They didn't trust it at first, but I made a believer out of them. So I'm going to show you this method, and hopefully in the future this method can hold true for you as well. And everyone's got their way of doing things, but this is just the way that I'm going to go about doing it going forward because it's relatively simple. It's still going to require strength on your end if you're doing it by yourself, but I find this method to be pretty handy because the device that you're going to need is relatively cheap, it's collapsible, and oddly enough, pretty sturdy. First things first, I've got my front legs on. So these are all tightened and bolted down in position, ready to go. The next thing you're going to be doing is lowering the machine down to where all the weight is on the front end of the machine. Now this is probably one of my heaviest games. It's the tie probably between this one and World Cup Soccer. I've moved them enough to know which one tends to feel like it's got more mass. And I'd say it's either this one or World Cup Soccer. The thing is, the method I'm going to be showing you, although it looks sketchy, I have used this device at Pinball Expo on a Godzilla LE, if you guys saw that video whenever I was setting that up, including a Jersey Jack Guns N' Roses, which is by far the heaviest game that I have ever lifted up. That definitely required assistance, even using this little device that held it up. It still held it up, but it definitely required more muscle to get the game off the ground. So this method is definitely easier with two people, but it still can be done by yourself. I'm just going to show you the method that I go about using it whenever you're alone, because this actually got asked to me when I was at the show, what is a good way to go about setting these things up by yourself? So now this method I also found out is not recommended for your Gottlieb System 3s, at least, because the lip from the cabinet is definitely a big plus on stability, but the Gottlieb System 3s have a pretty flush bottom, so I wouldn't trust it as much. If you have a really good non-slick floor like carpet and everything, you should probably be just fine. But if you have a slick surface, then I would definitely be a little more worrisome about using this method. But here we go. So this is all it is, guys. This little $20 stool that you can get at Walmart in the paint section folds up. It's compact, cheap, and oddly enough, pretty damn sturdy. So I'm going to get this about right there. Now, whenever you're getting into position, I'm going to be putting a lot of the weight of the cabinet on my right upper arm portion right here, and I'm going to have my right hand underneath the cabinet. So whenever I'm going to be lifting up on this, I'm putting a lot of my weight and pushing on the back side of the cabinet. And then once I get it off the ground, I'm going to make my way up, grab this, and slide it up underneath right there on the lip. Yes, I'm a little out of breath. This is not the first machine I've done today, for crying out loud. On there, good to go. And it is the great height for taking your legs, putting them on, and still have room under there. So even if you have taller legs or extended out legs, you're not going to worry about it not being high enough. It's high enough to where you can put on the back legs and then rest it back down. So it's at this point right here where we're going to be attaching our back legs. All right, legs are on it. So now, once again, I'm gonna use my right upper shoulder arm right here. Apply forceful pushing up and forward at the same time. A lot of that is on this leg right here. Take out the stool, lower it down. And the rest is pretty self-explanatory, guys. You've done the lifting the head and locking the back box and stuff like that. The hard part is over. And that, my friends, is my new method for solo setting up.